Hi everybody, this is Dr. Camille Smith. I am a counselor and a domestic violence advocate. Come to talk to you about Domestic Violence Month. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I just want to have a little chat with you about the necessity for people to be sensitive to when they're going through domestic violence situations and possibly not even recognizing it. Like a lot of times, we don't really think about domestic violence until it gets to the point where there's punching and hitting, real physical violence and sexual violence. But we don't really think about the innuendos and the emotional domestic violence situations and the verbal abuses that happen, and we don't think about the impact of those on our psyche. So people who are going through domestic violence are not just going through the physical onslaught, and sometimes the physical onslaught has not even happened yet, but they're going through the difficulty of being yelled at, of being told they're not good enough, of being called bad names, of being criticized unnecessarily. Now, constructive criticism is one thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just little simple, silly things that people say to each other that can be very deliberately hurtful and abusive. Like, when you have disagreements in relationships, it would be healthy for each person to be able to give their view on a topic, the other person give their view on a topic, and then you all sit down and try to work that out. That is what would be healthy. Or you come to a place where you realize that, hey, we may not be going to agree. But if you get in a situation where somebody is now lambasting the other one or critically and harshly criticizing the other person and calling them all kind of harsh words and harsh names and just generally belittling them, that's actually abuse. And we don't often see it that way, and we often overlook it. But here's what happens when you go through that kind of abuse over and over, repeatedly, for an extended period of time, and you keep receiving that and hearing that in your environment, then it begins to work on you emotionally and psychologically, and then it becomes a problem on your actual psyche. It could lead to emotional and mental health issues. So it's important to pay attention to violence in domestic situations, not just when it's physical or when it's sexual, although those are very critical. But it's also important to pay attention to the verbal abuse, to the psychological abuse, to the manipulation, to the put downs, to the emotional withdrawal. All of those things have an impact that can be long-lasting. So I implore you, if you, from this little video, realize that you might be in a domestic violence situation, please seek help. Please seek help to help you figure out how can you get help to deal with it, how can you deal with the situation, and if you are going through it, and if there are children in the home, more than likely they are going through it as well. Just wanted to bring that tip to you as a part of domestic violence awareness. I hope that it helped. Bye-bye. Take care.